Welcome to Glasfax District 4's November meeting. Glad to see you made it through the weather. I think the theme,
I mean,
I
when
blame you for this. I was blaming Ron, but I think it's you. So hopefully people have a safe drive home. You had a safe drive here. Welcome to the folks that are online. I'm not sure how many we have, but it's great to see you virtually anyways. We have 9. Excellent. Well, we're going to start this meeting. We're in November, and it's the time that we start to think about remembering. And I think we're going to start our meeting with a moment of silence to remember those that left and never came home, whether they be in the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, Coast Guard, Merchant Marine, medical services, nurses. And then we also remember those that came back and that weren't the same when they came back. And we also remember those that are no longer with us that went and served. They came back, but they're not with us today. So we'll have a moment of silence for those folks, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. At this point, we're going to turn over the meeting to someone to introduce our speaker for the day. It's not me, is it?
No, you're okay. Just in regards to an introduction, and I'm speaking off camera, so just bear with me. I talked with our guest speaker several times, and the last time I asked her for some information about introduction. And I raised the topic and she just let it roll. So there's no way that I was going to begin to repeat what she had in the way of introduction. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. Linda Smith.
Yes. Okay, so I'm here today to speak about vintage Christmas items. As you can see, I love paper. So kind of how I got started. My parents, as I told many of you, were both antique dealers. My mother did have some vintage Christmas, and after she passed, it was passed on to me. And so I kind of liked it prior to that, but so I started, kind of accumulating. And about 4 years ago, I met Victor, who was my partner, who's not here today because he's selling sports cards in Toronto. So that's a whole other thing. We met and we started selling glass, Pyrex, and things like that. Kind of happened upon that. And then I had heard about a vintage Christmas show or a holiday antique show that was happening in Ohio. And I said to him, "Oh, I'm going to go to this antique show in Ohio." And he said, "Well, if you're going to buy, you're going to sell." And so that's kind of what got us started with kind of the selling of it. So anyways, that's a little bit about me. So I love paper products. And I especially love Santa and Santa products. So this would have been, if we're good to just get into it, this is a box that I was gifted by actually a dealer here in just outside of London. And so when she gave it to me, it was filled with wrapping paper, which I have since taken out, but this is the wrapping paper and it's beautiful in my opinion. There's like kitty cats, puppies, indented ornaments. So these would have all been inside here. The snowman. I don't know if you guys, do you remember that? Yeah. Oh my gosh, beautiful.
But we don't buy them in squares anymore.
No, you don't find them in squares, and it's
Oh.
really nice, thick wrapping paper too. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Whole Tower. You probably are, right? No? Whole Tower or like the Left and Shopper girls that you can buy, no? So they would have been ceramics from the 50s and they would have looked like this. And I find it so interesting that, so they were girls that would be holding parcels and have, what are those called? Is it a muff? And they, they would hold that, then they'd have their parcels kind of teetering on that. And so it kind of looks like this wrapping paper. So everybody that I know who deals in that kind of stuff is after me for this. And then just this Santa wrapping paper is incredible. kind of the kids and Santa's checking his list, sitting by the fire. I just find all this stuff very interesting. So that was all in this box, and I think, I don't know if it says on the box how many sheets were in there. I don't think there's any writing on it, but the box is in incredible condition. Actually, this year for Christmas, for my decorating, I'm hanging that on the wall. So my whole decorating this year is gonna be a lot of paper stuff. Speaking of gift wrap, this is another example of vintage gift wrap, and it's in a cutter box. So like you would take out your saran wrap or whatever, and there was a serrated edge. It's kind of the same, but it's wrapping paper. And I love it because I love the stars, kind of that mid-century modern starburst. And I just think that box is incredible.
Because we don't get those now.
No,
Either.
no.
No.
I do have a lot of rolls of wrapping paper, so people think I'm crazy, but sometimes I think I'm crazy too, actually, to be honest with you. Why I'm so drawn to all this stuff. And then these are gift tags, so find out at Christmas, and it has the 8-cent price tag on it. I love to find things that have the price tags on them.
And how much is the price tag?
8 cents.
8 cents,
Yeah, wow.
but it was on special because on the back it says 15, so yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, these are great. I thought they were Denison, but they're not. But it's really hard to find in this condition, still having the plastic on the front. So these were bought in Ohio. A lot of the stuff that I bought is in Ohio. I don't know why, but the Midwest has a lot of vintage Christmas stuff. This I found myself, and it's probably from the 70s, but I think it's incredible. It was sold at Kmart. It too has the gift tag, and I love that. I love that it's like ribbon with another ribbon inside of it. I find that, and the fact that it's not been opened to me is just, these are Denison tags too. Really nice. These would be a little newer though. Also 8 cents. And they were also on sale because it looks like it was over top of their 15 cents. So, and then another thing that I love are vintage Christmas cards. And these are really hard to find, especially with the box. But the graphics, like this snowman, and you know, they do reproduce these now. These were lithoed in Canada, so that's really nice. Also from the same person that I got the Santa box from, the Angels, just beautiful. And they come with the envelopes, and a lot of the envelopes are the old gummed ones, and they're usually stuck together. But this box is not. So that's a big deal. I just got these cards, also in Ohio again, not too long ago.
Did you sell anything when you were there?
So the first time I went to Ohio, we did sell something, and I will tell you, yeah, you know the old aluminum trees? I think
Yeah.
based on that's Charlie Brown's Christmas. So Charlie Brown's Christmas was, you know, Charlie Brown was upset because of all these different colored trees and stuff that were out, and I personally don't love aluminum trees, but a lady had one for sale, and she said to us that we could come and look at it. So we drove to Sarnia, which is where it was, and she wanted $300 for the tree. And I thought, okay, well, that's reasonable. That's kind of the going rate. So she had left it on her porch for us to look at because it was a marketplace thing, as we all do, right? And so we went up to the thing and we're kind of looking through it, and I looked, and it was just an evergreen tree, which evergreen trees were made in Wisconsin. And so it was silver all the way down, and then at the end it was a blue tip. And I thought, that's weird. I've never seen a blue tipped tree before. And I know that any other color aside from silver is valuable. So I kind of put it away, and I said, yeah, we'll give her the $300 for it. I didn't know anything about it, to be honest with you. So we took the tree home, and I did some research, and through my research, I found that it's an extremely rare tree. What was it called? Winter Frost, I think is the name of it. Anyways, we sold that. We took it to the show. And as Victor was setting it up, Victor is my partner, people were coming out, like the other dealers were coming out and asking us, how much for the tree? Where'd you get that from? And I said, oh, that's a lot of money. And Victor goes, well, I'm asking $2,000 for it, American. And I said, you're crazy, but whatever, that's Victor. So I couldn't tell anybody that. So people were like, okay, and they were considering it. So then I was like, what is happening? Because this was only like it's only like a 3-foot tree. It wasn't even a big tree. Anyways, he did end up selling it for that amount of money and shipped it to Oklahoma, I believe. And a man who his entire family room, which was like a 2-level family room, was filled with these trees year round.
Wow.
Yeah, and every color. He had a pink one, a turquoise one, many silver ones, green. Yeah, and so now he had this blue tipped one. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah. It's easy for me to sell things like that because they're not my favorite. Other things, not so much. This is another example of extremely cool paper. I'll actually take it out of the. This I got in Quebec City from a man. We went to his apartment. He lived in an apartment with his wife and his son. And he did not speak English very well, but his wife kind of translated. Anyways, he was selling these on Marketplace. These are placemats, and they were lithoed in Toronto. I have lots of these bags. Yeah. I think it's rice paper that it's printed on, actually. But if you look at it closely, it's Santa on his sleigh. I'll pass it around so you guys can look at it. It's Santa on his sleigh, and it looks like a present's spilled out and a candy cane. So Santa's jumped out to pick them up. And the best part of it, and I'm gonna, instead of having you guys look, I'm just gonna tell you. Well, the best part is kind of the rabbit that's watching all the goings on from up there. But if you look closely, one of the reindeer is turning around to say, "What are you doing, Santa?" Like, in my mind, that's what he's saying. So anyways, yeah. So this came in a set of 12. So this is mine. I'm gonna frame it. But it's also gonna go on my wall. So I'll pass it around to you guys so you can have a look at it. Yeah, that's probably my most favorite thing, I think. It's very interesting. I showed my dad, who's an art dealer, and he went, "Oh yeah, that's neat." He doesn't really get it, but. And then another thing I can show you guys. I don't know if you remember getting these when you were kids. And I'm not sure how old this is. It was made by Reliable, which is a toy company. I don't know if Reliable is in the States too. I think it is, but it's a Canadian company as well. It's just an old mesh stocking that you would have gotten candies and toys in and stuff like that. So this one's probably from the 50s or 60s.
Does that have that stuff in it?
Yeah, it
has
still
that.
has the stuff in
It
it.
still has the
It
stuff.
still has the stuff. It has like a little guitar, it looks like. It's got like a Cupid doll, a plastic Cupid doll. No candy, no candy. There's a hole in the bottom, so maybe there wasn't candy in this one, or maybe it was eaten. Something I would do. And then this one is also, I just got this guy. He would have been the same thing. There would have been candy in his trousers. He's also going on my wall. So I think that's very cool. So I'm a 70s baby. I was born in 71. So this is my Santa. This is definitely a 50s Santa face. Most definitely 50s Santa face. This would have been like a late 60s, early 70s Santa face. And this stocking would have been the same kind of thing. So this would have been filled with candy, you know, Popeye cigarettes probably, and you know, little bracelets that broke the minute you put them on. And then that would have been stapled over top. And I would have bugged my mom for that. I would have begged her to buy it for me, and she would not have bought it for me. So I saw these and I bought them, and I'm going to fill them with stuff for my kids this year.
Right.
So even though they're adults. At Christmas, we're all kids. So yeah, so those are kind of examples of candy boxes. I only brought one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rossborough. It's
Is that the maker?
Rossborough is a maker. So they would do Santas, and it would just, like, a Santa would have a hole in it and it would have a lollipop in it. And then you would get this cool little, this one probably was filled with candies in the back. I put candy canes in it, plastic candy canes, not real ones, because I don't want them to top them over. He's got a little pipe. Oftentimes you don't find them with the pipe. He's got quite a bit of yellowing on him, but he's really beautiful. I have my mom's of this version. This is a different one that I have accumulated, but Rossboro's really has some really cool stuff. They have really cool Halloween ones. I'm not a Halloween person. I find Halloween to be a barrier to Christmas. So I just want it over so that I can move on to Christmas. So yeah. But I do have some Rossboro Halloween stuff just because I have customers that collect it. This is also a really beautiful piece of old paper, and I think it had a stand on it, so it would have stood up on, and it's felted, a felted card. It just says Merry Christmas on it. It's not in the best shape, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That will also go on my wall. And these are Bradford. So any kind of unbreakable plastic ornament you would have on your tree. I think Bradford's been around, I think, since the 50s, but it really gained popularity in probably the 60s and 70s. So some of the ornaments would be like plastic on the outside, and then inside would be like a diorama kind of thing with Santa on the inside or some flowers or whatnot. These are reindeer, and the reason that I like this is obviously from the packaging, because I'm a packaging person, but you can look at it, I can pass it around too. You can see the houses behind with the smoke coming out of the chimney, and then so that's the packaging, because the reindeer, which is my favorite part of Christmas, is, you know, Santa flying up at the, with all the reindeer flying up in the sky. Any kind of picture that has Santa and the reindeer, near and dear to my heart. So that's that. And then you guys like glass. I did bring glass ornaments to show you, which I know that we've all seen them, but I also like the boxes that go with glass ornaments. So this is Polish. These are Polish ornaments. They're called Fantasia ornaments. This box is great because it's got Santa, it's got wreaths on the side of it, just says ornaments on the side. The ornaments themselves, these are in beautiful condition, but they're red teardrop ornaments. Mercury glass, so they're in really good condition. Polish ornaments break easily. German ornaments are easier, they break more at the stem of it. So often if you're buying like a Christmas ornament, you need to take the cap off and look at it. I didn't bring any German ornaments with me. But if you take the cap off, oftentimes you'll see that it's broken at the top. And I don't sell anything that's broken unless I tell a person it's broken. And then it's up to them. But it doesn't affect the hanging. It will still hang nicely on the tree. And that's a reflector, so it just reflects the light, and that's why it's indented. So these are also Polish ornaments, but it's just in a different box. And that's why I brought it, because to show you the box, it's Santa standing on the chimney, which I think is excellent. And there would have been cellophane in here, but if the cellophane's broken or whatever, I always rip it out. And Victor always says to me, don't rip out the cellophane, but it's really not serving any purpose. It's just a barrier to how beautiful it looks. And then these are Shiny Brights. These are American made ornaments, which I think Shiny Bright has the best boxes. And Shiny Bright ornaments are nicknamed Shiny Brutes because unlike German and Polish ornaments, and Russian ornaments too, they don't break as easily. So I've dropped more ornaments than I like to admit, and Shiny Brights rarely break. Sometimes they break, and I had some really expensive ones and they broke last week, but that's the way it goes. So Shiny Bright did a lot of stenciled ornaments. So that just says season's greetings. No, it doesn't. It says, oh, it just says Christmas greetings on it. So I like stenciled ornaments. I have all the Merry Christmas ornaments in all the different colors. I even have a purple one, which is really hard to find. You won't find a lot of purple ornaments. A lot of people don't realize that, but there's not a lot of old purple ornaments. I don't know why. Green bell. Yeah, so Shiny Brights are they're sturdier, and they're, I think, a thicker glass than, they're still mercury glass, but it's a thicker glass. Did you guys know about unsilvered ornaments? I didn't bring any. You probably know about unsilvered ornaments, no? So back during the war, they didn't want to use any of the silvering or the metal or the mercury or any of that. think is how it goes, because they were using it basically for bullets and for, so a lot of the ornaments they made will just be a clear glass and then they'll just be painted. So all of them made unsilvered ornaments. I didn't realize that. And then I found some Polish ones and I'm like, oh, those are unsilvered too. But Corningware, which is interesting because Corning makes Pyrex and you know, all the other kind of stuff. Corning actually made the mold and made the glass ornaments. And then different companies would buy them. So Shiny Bright, Mark Eckhart, and Frankie, Kobe, all bought the ornaments. They would just paint them differently. So, and you can only tell by the caps. Everybody just always calls them Shiny Brights. And I don't correct people because that makes me a snob, right? That's not Shiny Bright, that's a Kobe. I don't do that. Some people do, but I don't do. These are just a little feather tree ornaments, just little bells, also made by Shiny Bright. And I think that box is to die for. Again, that's just me and my boxes. So, and then another, oh, and I was talking about the plastic ornaments. These are reflectors, so they're all plastic. And I'm gonna say that these were from the 60s. These were made in Canada. Another great box, another great example, and they're Noma. Everybody's seen that Noma guy, right? I have people that will come up to me and they'll say, what have you got in Noma boxes? And they just wanna buy the Noma box. And I know why I get it. I get it. I think they think I'm gonna think they're weird, but I'm like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I have a whole bunch of them. These are also Noma. So this is probably my favorite box ever. The outside of it really isn't great. It's okay. And this one's been taped. You know, I find what's interesting about these things is like we all do, we unpack and pack our Christmas ornaments every year, right? And so these things all get beaten up and battered and bruised. So when I come across something that's in great condition, like that, it's really fabulous. And just the girl looking at it and then all the lights that are in it. And I believe the lights work. About half of them, I think, work. But you're not allowed to ship these anymore. And so the people will sell them, but they will sell them without the, they'll have to empty the liquid out. And I'll be real with you, I don't know what the liquid is. I don't know what it is, but it's not good apparently. And so like a lot of these things, like mercury glass probably isn't good either, but you know, whatever. But anyways, I just really like the box. These are really sought after. I have a million people that want them, so this probably will be my year to sell them, I'm not sure. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. This is a really nice box. This is a box of Noma reflectors, so these would go on Christmas lights. And I mean, I think you can still buy reflectors, but they would be plastic now. These are aluminum. And the fact that they're in the box is just incredible. I can tell they've never been used, so they've never gone on anybody's tree. Actually, I'm sorry, these are tin. Those are tin. And the colors are great. So you just poke your Christmas light through them and then it would reflect the light off of them. And I've put them on my tree and it does reflect the light beautifully. These are all so nice, like different cutouts and whatnot. Beautiful. And a beautiful box. So. Oh, and then these are fun. I just brought these because they're fun. And they're made in Japan. A lot of the Christmas stuff was made in Japan. And you can always kind of tell because of this gold thing. I'm putting my hand here because this guy is squished in. But they are just like plastic, I think golf balls. Golf ball ornaments with Santa painted on the front of them. And I just think that that is, I obviously like kitschy stuff. And that is to me, the epitome of kitsch, right? And I love that it's in the package and it was never opened. I just think that's so cool. And that was bought in Ohio as well. Ohio is a mecca of Christmas, vintage Christmas. You should go sometime if you haven't. I love it. And Michigan too. And Wisconsin, that's where the evergreen trees were made. So there's a lot of stuff in Wisconsin and we've traveled to all those places. So, and there's a real circle of people that kind of deal with each other. So, and also, you know, we were talking earlier about glass and whatnot, and just how things ebb and flow. And right now vintage Christmas is having its moment. and it's hard to find. And so, and people are very competitive when they try to buy this stuff. Like, it's Christmas. They get really upset about it. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, that part. I wasn't really expecting when I started to do this, but we're having a sale next weekend, and the amount of people that have tried to like pre-buy, and I said, well, I can't advertise that I'm selling something or bringing something to a sale and then not have it at the sale, so I can't do that. And they get really upset and angry, but that's just an aside, but I don't know why.
So you mean you've already on Facebook, you
Yeah.
take pictures of what you're selling?
Yeah, yeah.
And they want to buy it before it gets.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, and so, and trust me, I don't want to be on Instagram. That is the last place I want to be. I don't want to do any of that, but in this day and age, for me anyways, and for what I'm selling, you need to have an online presence, and Instagram is the best way to do it. So I am constantly taking pictures of what I'm selling, or boxes that I put together of ornaments, and then I go on my story and I take a picture and then I post it on the story. And then I put music behind it, and it's like a whole thing. And it's not my forte, it really is not, but I'm learning. It's taking me a while to learn how to do it. So I love that you embrace technology. I'm not like, that's not me. I did do that. I work in a school, actually. That's what I do for my full-time job. And when COVID happened and we had to go online, we were all kind of like, you know, what are we gonna do now? You know, some of us didn't know how to do it. But you learn quick. You learn quick how to Zoom and all the other things that you have to. You have kids waiting on you, so. But yeah, so I'll post things and people will. It's very competitive. People will message and, oh well, I'll give you twice as, and I'm like, that's not the point. Like, I can't do that. Yeah, it's something else. I'll tell you. It's Christmas time, and it's supposed to be about Christmas. So. And we sold at Aberfoyle. They have two, I'm sure as you know, they have two special dates.
Yeah.
So two special Saturday shows. And thankfully Victor has a friend, and he offered us some of the space in his booth. And so I posted on Marketplace and Instagram that I was going to be there. And this lady messaged me and she said, I'm extending my business trip a couple of days so I can come to your sale. She was from Calgary. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. And she said, and I'd like to buy the large pumpkin blow mold. And I said, oh, well, how are you going to get it back? And she goes, oh, I've got it figured out. And I said, okay, well, I'll set that aside for you, which I don't normally do, but I did. And so this lady was the first in line at Aberfoyle on a Saturday show. And she messaged me and she said, I'm first in line and I feel crazy. And I said, oh, well, I've been first in line for things before, but not really. Anyways, I said, don't worry about it. And then I was kind of explaining to her where we were, because we were kind of hidden in the back. And she raced to our booth and she bought the pumpkin blow molds. She bought a hockey bag. She stored them in the hockey bag. She brought out a Christmas, like a plastic Christmas ball container that she had purchased at Walmart. And she filled it full of ornaments. And she took it back on the plane with her.
Ooh, wow.
Like, that's dedication. That's dedication to vintage Christmas. She said that she can't find it in Calgary.
No.
So, but then I've seen people posting that they've scored these big things at thrift stores in Calgary. And I wonder to myself, is that lady upset if she sees those? Going, oh no, I spent all that money at Aberfoyle and stayed an extra day and I could have gone to the thrift store in Calgary, but I haven't heard from her. So yeah, so and it is hard to find. It's and I guess that's why we go to Ohio. We did get in trouble at the border. When we were selling Pyrex. Is it okay for me to talk about that?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm a bit of a talker. Do you guys want to ask any questions?
I wanted to hear about the trouble at the border.
Okay. The trouble at the border was something. So we were going to Wisconsin. We had
this?
This was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pre-Trump. So we went, Victor has a big pickup truck, and we had done this before. We'd gone to Tennessee and a few other places and sold at Pyrex swap meets. And we had the entire truck filled with Pyrex and Catherine Home, which is that enamelware I was telling you about from Denmark. And so we pulled up at the border like we always did. And he said, where are you headed? And we said, we're headed to Wisconsin to a Pyrex swap meet. Well, what's in your truck? And we said, a bunch of Pyrex. And he said, oh, well, you need to pull over, we're gonna have a look. So they said, what is it? And I said, it's Pyrex, it's kitchenware, and like from the 50s and whatnot. And so they start searching the truck. And then I guess they did some research and they said, this is worth a lot of money. You can't just come into this the United States and sell this stuff. And I said, oh, well, I didn't know that. And we've never had a problem crossing the border before. So they said, oh, no, there's so much paperwork. You have to get, you have to do all this. You have to have lots of paperwork. So I said, oh, okay. So then we left. Now, the time it takes to pack all this stuff up, we had rented our table in Wisconsin. We had friends in Wisconsin who were waiting for us to come. So I wasn't giving up. I was getting across that border. So we left and I thought I downloaded the right paperwork. We thought we had filled it in and we went to, he told us we had to go to the not Pete's Bridge, Ambassador Bridge, the actual bridge, not the tunnel. And we had to go through the, the truck side. So I filled out all this paperwork. And I'm not good at paperwork, so I knew it wasn't right, but I was still gonna give it a shot. So we went in and we told them, they pulled us over. I could tell the guy that was pulling us over didn't really want to pull us over, but he did. So we went inside, I spoke to them for a little bit, explained the whole situation, and they said, no, this isn't not the right paperwork. And I said, well, I'm gonna find the right paperwork and I'll be back. So we went back to Windsor. I got different paperwork that I printed off at Staples, and then we went back to the border. And she said, well, where is this place? And I said, well, it's a church in Wisconsin, in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. And they looked it up on Facebook and they saw, and I said, Tracy Wright is the person that's organized it and her daughter. And I said, like, we've done this a million times. We just didn't realize we needed this paperwork to do it. And so the lady said to me, this is the last time. You can't ever do this again, but we're gonna let you go. So
Oh, you've been banned.
So we went, and every time we would go, I was crossing with my cousin just to go shopping before Christmas one time. And they looked at me and they said, Linda, do you have any Pyrex in the car? And I said, no, I'm just here to shop. Well, we have to take a look. And I said, okay. So they were pulling us over. And of course, we never took any Pyrex back with us. But, and then one day I was crossing and they didn't ask me. And so then I was like, oh, I think we're in the clear. But we never took any Christmas back, or that was the last time we sold, because we just, you have to have a whole manifest and you have to go through a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Broker.
You know everything.
I've done
You've done it before. Yeah. Well, I didn't.
I've done it on the legit side.
Yeah, nobody told me. I didn't know there was a legit side. So we got in trouble with the border and that was that. So, but now they let us go across all the time. But when we go and we buy in the States, which I know is not a great thing to do nowadays, but we always stay over 48 hours so that we can bring back $1,600 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the stuff that we have mostly is because we've gone to get it. Because people always say, where do you find that? Not here, not in London. And we have wonderful friends that are in the States. So I feel very bad for them. And Victor's brothers are in Tennessee. So I don't want to go to the South though. I just go to the Midwest and then we turn back around. So yeah, that's where most of it came from. So we're not in trouble at the border anymore.
You think?
Well, we think. But I
never get it.
I was not giving up that day. I did not clean all this Pyrex and pack it all up as carefully as I have to give up now. And then we went and we didn't sell very much. So it's kind of like not really worth it, but it was fine. But yeah, so, and that's how we started with this, is that I was a collector of it, but we were selling Pyrex, and so we just kind of morphed into this. Actually, a lot of people that sold Pyrex are now selling vintage Christmas and Halloween stuff. Oddly enough, I don't know why. I guess maybe it goes together, because people will do beautiful displays with their Pyrex at Christmas time, and they'll put jadeite in there with it as well. So they'll have like red Pyrex and some jadeite, and then they'll put something like that with it. So it's actually really beautiful. So, and that's why everybody's on Instagram, and that's why I have to be on Instagram. I don't do things like that. I can't. I don't have the skill, and I don't have the Pyrex or the jadeite. I do have some jadeite, but there's some Christmas jadeite. You guys a jadeite collector? I think it's newer stuff. There's a Santa plate.
It's Martha Stewart.
It could be Martha Stewart.
They sold that at one of those restaurants in the States.
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
But I think even now that's collectible too, somewhat, so jadeite's gone down in price as well, so. Anyways. Any other questions?
Any questions?
Yes,
The package that you have with the toys in it
Yes.
still,
yeah,
would that have been in somebody's Christmas decorations, not given out for Christmas, or was that the old stuff like a?
yeah, I think it would have been this,
Old
like,
stores, what do they call it, old store stock, old stock?
yeah, well, it was bought at an auction, we bought it at a local auction actually.
Oh, you don't know where, how,
I'm not sure where,
Yeah.
it
okay.
probably, maybe it did come from a store because I would think a kid would rip it open, right? It
Yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah,
intact
or-
still,
um,
so.
Or possibly somebody bought a whole bunch of them to give out Christmas and didn't give that one out.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually just showed me, he came across 4 boxes of package ties, so maybe it would look like this, I think these are for the tree, but they all had the Japan seal on them and they have like angels or little like shiny gifts and stuff like that. He came across 4 stuffed boxes that somebody, apparently their mother had bought out a business that had gone out of business and she just went and bought it all.
Yeah,
And her family had no appreciation for it and then just sold it to him. And this guy has appreciation for it. But I said to him, well, what are you gonna do with all of it? Cause it's like probably 100 packages. And they're probably worth about, I don't know. And the condition that they're in, I would say they're probably $40 or $50 each.
whoa.
And he's not selling them. Even to me. I tried to. I said, oh, what about those candy canes? Because I love candy canes. I said, are you gonna sell any of the candy canes? And he said, oh, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. And I'm like, well,
Well, so you might
you've
still,
got a lot there.
yeah,
buddy.
you might still some to you. then.
Yeah, let's hope so. Or trade me, because I have some foil reflectors that he'd really like to get his
Okay,
hands
yeah.
on. So I'm thinking we might do a trade in the future, but we will see. So,
Linda, where are you on Instagram?
I'm called Shop Lola's Kitchen. So Lola was my grandmother.
Oh,
And she had a turquoise kitchen with, you know, the little animals that came in the tea bags and and so on her heat register, all of the little animals, and my sister and I would come and she'd go, you girls can go and pick an animal from the heat register. And so we'd go and get one and she had kitschy stuff all over her kitchen. And as a kid, I was just like in awe of this kitchen, and her living room had like kitschy stuff in it too. My other grandma was very country and did not have any kitschy stuff. She was very like Dorothy. She was not, she was strict. But my grandma Lola was fun. And and so when I was trying to decide a business name, I called it Miss Lola's Kitchen. And that's how we started selling, was Miss Lola's Kitchen. So yeah, that's the story how I came up with that. Yeah. She was very cute. She had a cute little button nose. That's all I really remember. She didn't, I think I was 9 when she passed away, so I didn't get to know her that well. Yeah. Anyways. And to be honest with you, I don't remember Christmas at her house. I remember it at Dorothy's house. She had a lot of shiny bright ornaments and my cousin got them all. But that's okay. I've replaced them now with my own, so yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Any other questions?
And I probably talked so much, I've covered everything. Nobody has any questions.
I'll ask a
You got
question.
it all.
I got another question.
Okay.
The packaging there with the Santa Claus heads.
Yes.
Right
Which one?
there.
Oh, this one? Or
No, this one.
Yes,
the-
yep.
the-
Oh, yeah, yep.
Now, when you find something mint like that,
Mhm.
it's likely worth more to keep it in that package and then rather than take it apart and put it out on a tree or.
Yeah, I mean, there have been times where I've opened packages, I'm not gonna lie. Wrapping paper, like I got a roll of, I think it was 10 from the same lady. She said, Linda, there's a dealer here and he's, wanting to get rid of his Christmas stuff. Would you be interested in this? And it was a bunch of pink and turquoise Santas up on the rooftop. It was forever, so.
No.
But I will be honest with you, as I watched my kids unwrap it, my daughter was careful because she knew. But my son was ripping it, and I was like,
Yeah.
But Michaela, I could probably reuse what Michaela opened, but Matthew, no, he just tore it open. As you're supposed to on Christmas. So that's what it was intended for. So, and it wasn't my favorite wrapping paper either, but I like foil wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. But yeah, not everybody likes wrapping paper. My mother probably would just shake her head at me. She wouldn't be surprised, but she would shake her head at me for all of this, but she did like it too, but yeah. My dad doesn't really get it. But I never got his art that he sold, so we're even, right? But yeah. Anyways.
Go ahead, Ron.
On behalf of Glasfax, I'd like to thank you for coming today and telling us all about this. Very educational, very entertaining. I knew you'd do a good job because you're really hyped up about Christmas
Yeah.
and very knowledgeable. So thanks for coming.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.